else can wait. Give me you. I hope I'm not too late. Lord, give me you. Lord, give me you. Lord, give me you. Lord, give me you. Give me you. Everything else can wait. Lord, give me you. I hope I'm not too late. Lord, give me you. Lord, give me you. Lord, give me you.
Greetings, family of God. We're glad to be back on a Tuesday night with In Your Corner with Pastor Law. This is September, and we have a topic that we discussed during this month, and the topic for this month is a recipe for a healthy marriage, and we're gonna have great talks and topics that we discuss going forward. But tonight, I am honored to be back with you on the live stream in Your Corner with Pastor Law. Please interact, comment, like, and share, because this might change someone's marriage. It might encourage someone. So please feel free to interact with us tonight. And tonight I have a guest. They've been married for 20 years now. Reverend Jackie Lourence and Pastor Annalise Lourence. They are my guests tonight as we going to kick this thing off tonight. And I'm glad to be back on social media with In Your Corner with Pastor Law on a Tuesday night. Apologies for starting late. Due to load shedding, we need to move around our schedule. But tonight we are in and we are ready to go. So let me introduce my guests to you tonight. Once again, it's Pastor Jackie Lourence and Pastor Annalise Lourence. They are with me tonight and they are my guests. I am so glad to have them here because for me, I go by the slogan that marriage is a beautiful thing between two people if they understand each other's love language. That is the thing that makes us to stay together as a married couple. Greetings, Rev. Greetings, Pastor Anna. How are you guys doing?
Good evening, Pastor Law, and the online viewers in the cyberspace. We are so honored to be joining you tonight for this interesting discussion and topic. And we don't take it lightly. And also thank you for the Faith and Hope Center and the family for hosting us tonight.
Good evening, Pastor Law. I'm doing well. Good to see you again.
Good. 2 decades. Man, it's been a while. You've been around. I think you fought all the things that marriage can throw your way. And the best thing is that it doesn't matter what came your way. 20 years it's been a while. So let's get into our discussion tonight. A recipe for a healthy marriage. Can you just tell us, Rev Jax, how long did you date before you asked the big question, and how long did you wait after asking the big question to marry the woman of your dreams?
Pastor Law, yes, we were fortunate enough to be friends first, and then we were colleagues as well. So it was easy to just say, no, it's not my girlfriend, it's actually my colleague. And we worked together. And to answer your question is we dated for about 6 months officially. And then we decided that, I need to ask the big question. And 6 months was enough for us. And we got married, we got engaged. And on the 14th of February in the same year that we got married in 2003. And I popped the question. And 20 years later, still feels like yesterday.
Yes, what's inspiring for me, you didn't take long. So I believe that when you met her, you you know that this is the woman that I want to spend the rest of my life with?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think when I was reading the letter that she wrote in prayer for her husband, she basically, to the T, wrote my characteristics in her prayer that, Lord, I want this husband. And she could have just written my name on a piece of paper as well. But when we met, it was from the word go, as if we were made for each other.
And Anna, when Rev Jax popped the question, what went through your mind?
Yeah, it's like I think when we started, the friendship that we have was really the foundation on which our relationship was built, and also later our marriage as well. And he was conniving with my parents to have like a secret engagement. And then when he popped the question, I had no doubts. And even after 6 months, I felt that this is the person that I would want to spend my life with.
Great, that is great. My viewers, you can hear that if you as jy jou ding gekry het, dan het jy jou dingetjie gekry en jy hoef nie nog lank te wag om die pad te stap nie. A 20th anniversary is a significant milestone for any couple, marking 2 decades of commitment, romance, and partnership. Does the romance and the spark deteriorate, and how do you rekindle it and you keep that fire burning?
I think let me give that one to my wife to answer. She will know what needs to be done.
Yes, I think for me, love is a choice. At first, when you start, it's the romantic love, and later, as you move on in life, you realize there's other factors that really plays a role in marriage, especially like friendship, commitment, those kind of things, and having that mutual respect and being able to be friends with your spouse. For me, I always view marriage. You don't always feel like you love your spouse. There's a lot of times where you fall out of love, where you feel like this person, I don't want this person, but um, I think the crux of it is to fall in love with the same person over and over again. And I think that is what kept us. If the spark is dying, I think every marriage goes through cycles. Similarly, as life goes through seasons, every marriage has got its seasons. So I think it's about knowing your pattern as a couple, where you find yourself that no, I can see now we are deteriorating, or we need to do something special to just rekindle that flame and just to reaffirm your love for one another.
Just the extra question. Um, you've been now married for 20 years. Do you still go on date nights?
Of course.
Yes, absolutely. You need to outshine the kids as well out there. I mean, we have 2 teenagers now in the house, and we need to show them, not only talk about it, but need to show them that we are still in love, we are still a girlfriend and boyfriend, even though we are married. We do the things that needs to be done. And like any marriage, you need that oxygen. Like any fire, you need oxygen to keep the fire burning. So we do those things. I remember just some years ago, just one weekend, we just decided to go to Zimbabwe, to the Vic Falls, and it was a getaway weekend for us. And those kind of things that rekindles the fire in the marriage.
Thank you for your answer, Rev Jackson and Lady Anna. My viewers, there you have it. Even if you are married for 20 years, don't let the fire burn out. Keep that oxygen in the fire and keep the fire burning so that you keep on finding each other in love. When we grow up, marriages lasted for decades and decades, but today the average marriage lasts between 0 and 3 years. Then people give up on each other and on marriage. What kept you for 20 years being in this marriage and not giving up, even if all hell breaks loose? within your marriage? What is that two things that you can tell the viewers that kept you guys together, even though there was havoc in the marriage, or the marriage just went smooth?
I think, Pastor Low, what is important is the centerpiece in any marriage should be Christ. And when Christ is the fundamental foundation, you can build on it, and you can build your marriage on it. What stood out for us from our premarital counseling was this wise words that Pastor Sembe told us is, I should not work on Annalise, and Annalise should not work on me or try to change me in the marriage. I should work on myself with my issues, and the same for my wife. She must work on her issues. And that space that you need to create for each other in the marriage, that each one of us has its own gift, likes, and your characteristics, your charisma and stuff. Create a space within the marriage so that each one can grow in the marriage, but grow towards each other and grow together as a couple. And that kept us, for all these years. We have a lot of disagreements, and we face it on, not individually, because we are imperfect people, but the matrimonial union is a perfect union instituted by God.
And if I can also just add, marriage is supposed to be fun. Um, we are very, very, very simple, and I think humor is something that is really, just bringing that laughter. Even as a family, we like to, have pranks, make jokes around. So that is something that also, build the unity in the house. And I think also one should also be mindful of the phases in life that you go through, like when your children are small, when they are teenagers, when you yourself also goes through things like menopause, for instance, midlife. It comes with a lot of things that you also need to be aware, because it can also affect your marriage. You're not aware in which life cycle you are, and also, especially also things like trauma. If you haven't dealt with trauma in your, your early life, or things that happen maybe in marriage itself also, it can catch up with you. So my advice to couples would be in touch with yourself, grow as a person, but also grow as a couple, and yeah, deal with the things that sometimes we find ourselves also in marriages that um, you tend to allow things for a period, and then when you find yourself and you say, but this is not what I want, and then your spouse say, but you've been accepting this all along. So I think it's also about articulating your needs, knowing who you are, what is it that you want, because how will your spouse know if you don't know yourself and not know who you are? And so it's important to know yourself and to know that you as a person need to grow that individuality, and then also supporting your spouse in terms of allowing yourself and to challenge one another so that you can grow together, and also to keep that rhythm. I think that's important.
Thank you, and thank you, Rev
May-
Jax. It's important to grow with each other. Every relationship, every marriage, there's a love language. What is the love language that kept you guys together for this long? Because 20 years it's not child's play. 20 years is a long time. So um, what is the love language that kept you guys together for so long?
I think, Pastor Law, from my side, I like to do things, and appreciation for me coming in when I do things for my wife, and I see the appreciation on her face. And I think another language is also a words of affirmation. That small thank you means a lot. Or before you go out to work or to any business meeting, or when you go out and you get that compliment from your spouse, it says a lot, it means a lot, and it gives you confidence. And what I do, what I make sure every day without fail in the morning, I make my wife a fresh cup of coffee, hot, before she even gets out of bed. And I don't fail in doing that. It doesn't matter whether we're in disagreement or not. That is my way of starting my day and making sure that she is sorted out. And but the two things for us is words of affirmation for each other, and doing things out of the bottom of our hearts because we're meaning it. And we don't expect something back, but we implementing, and we actually investing in our marriage for doing such things.
Good. There's a lesson there to make sure that before your wife gets out of bed, make her a nice warm cup of coffee, because it is the little things in life that that woman sometimes appreciates. And even if there is a misunderstanding, we also keep on doing what we are doing to keep that fire burning. All marriages have their ups and downs. When ups and downs come your way in your marriage, did giving up ever cross your mind? If so, how did you overcame that obstacle, and what tools did you use to become an overcomer so that staying in marriage can be celebrated at the end of the day?
I think like any other marriage, marriages face a lot of challenges, from when children is born, before children is born, when children are there, the different phases of marriage. Each marriage has different seasons that it goes through. The important thing is to face those challenges head on, put everything on the table, and be vulnerable enough to talk about these things. Sometimes it's uncomfortable, but those discussions help a lot to create a platform of trust, a platform where you feel safe as a spouse, where you address these issues. And ups and downs are there. It's even written in the vows, through sickness and in health, to reach the richness and poorousness, and stuff like that. But it's how we tackle it together as a unit, how we tackle it together as husband and wife, making sure that our union, our marital relationship stays intact and healthy. We have this saying that we don't go to bed when we are still not agreeing or disagreeing, because we need to pray before we go to bed. And so we try to settle it that day, because tomorrow is a new day and we need to face new challenges. And no marriage, not even our marriage, is exonerated from challenges. You get them. It's how you approach it, how you manage, how you deal with it, that makes and build every time, that builds that marriage for the next season.
In the day and age that we live in, we see that people will rather opt to fat and sit than to get married, because of what they see in the society, and what they have experienced maybe in their parental home, that maybe the father walked away or people get divorced. How do we inspire those that have been doing fat and sit for more than 5 years to tie the knot?
I think, Pastor Lo, it comes back to I would not say commitment. Commitment you can reverse, but it comes to this fundamental word which we deem to be a covenant. Marriage is a covenant. It's not only a contract where you sign in terms of the matrimonial laws and stuff in South Africa, but it's a covenant. It's a commitment that you make, and it's a permanent commitment that you sign with basically your life. You surrender to the person that the Lord has bestowed upon you, and to take care, to love, and to nurture. And for people that is in that relationship of fat and sit, you can easily just walk out. There's no legal issues that keeps you there. It's easy to just walk out and leave everything behind. But in a matrimonial relationship, when you have entered covenant, you cannot just go out and decide that you can go. We recently we had that dip that we needed to be faced with that situation, whether are we canceling everything and are we leaving it behind. But you need to have that inherent need to belong here, because it's not just like the our elder people used to say, it's not paraquop. It's not just you go in and you enter and you exit whenever you want. It's a permanent decision. It's a lifelong decision. And what stood out for us in our marriage is we were looking at the model that our parents were placing before us, and we have decided this is the goods that we're going to take and to implement into our marriage. And there were also the bad that we said we're not going to take these ones. We're going to take these ones and we're going to take the good ones and get better at it. And we grew in marriage, and we grew towards each other, and we grew together. Not the other one grows and we are not equally yoked, but that is the, I think, the core stuff for us.
And also, my encouragement would be to those couples is to say that similarly in life, you write your own story, and you shouldn't be moved by what's happening in society. And it all starts with Christ. If you believe that um, God ordained marriages, and marriage is a holy covenant, and you see it from that perspective. And sometimes you find the reason why people don't want to move into marriage is because of that self-righteousness, self-gain, um, wanting your needs to be met before the next person. So I think love is a choice. I always say that. Even if you sometimes don't feel like you love somebody, it's a choice that you make. So people also, because they don't have knowledge about the responsibility that goes with marriage. So I think it's so important that um, you must want to be in marriage. You also need to be there for the right reasons and not for the wrong reasons. So if your motive is pure and you want to commit your life to somebody that you feel that you love this person and you're going to spend the rest of your life with this person, knowing fully well that there will be ups and downs and that you will make it through this the hurdles that you might go through. So yeah, I think for my it's people must discern to say, I want to be in this marriage, I want to commit. Yeah, amen.
I see my wife says we need to grow together, and then she's saying yes, Pastor Annie, for the answer that you just gave. I think something is tickling her of what you just said. Do you believe in celebrating every year, every a yearly anniversary, or only when you reach 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years? Um, do you believe in celebrating it every year, or just half a decade or a decade?
So, Pastor Law, from I think I grew up in a family where celebrations of this kind, even birthdays, were not celebrated. So we're looking for any reason to have a celebration. If it's a birthday, we make it very special. When it comes to our anniversary, we make sure that we do something very special. And when Elverine was born, we could not, celebrate our 10th year anniversary. And 2 years later, we decided, let's go to the City of Lights. We went overseas to Paris and we celebrated our 12th year anniversary. And we deemed it every time necessary that we need to do something for our anniversary. The reason being for that is we need to acknowledge Christ, our Lord and Savior, for allowing us to celebrate another year. and to plan for the next year ahead in terms of where is the family going to, what is the direction, what is the new plans, our assets, our estates and stuff like that. Are we set up financially? So it's not just an anniversary. We plan accordingly and say, okay, for this next year, where are we going to in terms of study, self development? Where are we in terms of ministry, the children? So it's a planning session as well for us, if we can call it that. Then when we go on a date, we have that strategy session and we discuss these issues, because it's not every day that you can sit down and plan properly. And we literally sit there and we make promises and we write them down and we keep each other accountable to see it through.
My wife, I see she's very busy here tonight, but I salute her for that, as we are now just going into our 13th year of being married. Um, we're going to go into next year, we will be 13 years into the marriage, and it's nice to see that um, she's here. That you were very strategic, Ref, to go to Paris, because they say from Paris with love. So you went there to go and celebrate the love, and that is why you guys are still together. There was a special moment in Paris with love. You partially answered the next question that I want to pose to you. Can you share with us, for this past 20 years, how did you balance marriage, when the kids came, work, church, and your social life, so that you don't get boring in the marriage, but you always find yourself um, to be on point in what you are doing as a married couple? Can I give this one to Pastor Anna, just to tell us how did she
Yes, yes, please. Yes, please.
balance the marriage, the work, the church, and the social life? Because I also know that you guys are well learned and you focus on studies. You get yourself ready for what is coming next. So how do you balance that, especially when the kids now come into the equation, and now all of a sudden everything needs to change?
Yeah, I think for me, what the balance comes in, that it's important that your children know that they shouldn't. How can I say? Sometimes you find when, especially when you are in ministry, your kids tend to take a back seat, and I've seen over the years that wherever we went when we were in ministry, we took our kids. They know that they don't stay at home. If we go and have to do something at the church, they must go with. And I must be honest, I can see the fruits of that now, although we're not involved in ministry at this stage, but where they are placed, I think you also know where they are with you now. They know they must serve and they know they must do whatever they need to do. So I think they've learned, they've seen the example and they've learned that. So I think as a family together, having to spend time doing God's work, that is the most important thing. And also, it's also about alignment, because if you have the same vision and you are yoked together you have the same passion as a couple wanting to do the work of God, you would give each other that space to say that, you support, we need to do this thing together and run together as a family, because basically that's the balance. As for our social life, we don't have really, I don't know, a really social life, especially now. When the kids were younger, we used to have a lot of family trips, but that also comes with, you have to make arrangements, you would know. We're not here the Sunday, somebody needs to stand in. And then even when you're gone, you start feeling guilty because you were supposed to be there, but also realizing that you as a family also need that time away, having to spend some time together, also taking into consideration you have kids and they would also want to, have that social life. So yeah, I think that's how we try to manage it. But the most important thing is taking your kids along if you do ministry work, so that they can also learn and they can also be involved, and trying to love out that example to them also. So yeah,
I think
that's
I'm not sure if if I'm locked out or we've lost each other there. Um,
we can't see you, but we can hear you. Yeah.
yeah,
There
there
you
was
were.
just a glitch.
Yeah. So I think to add what Eddie is saying is we deliberately deciding on what do we load on ourselves and what do we not load on ourselves. When it comes to ministry as well, we need to start at home first before we go out. And as a family, we need to serve each other even for that matter. And one thing that we've learned over the last years is when we need to balance it out, we don't want our children to compete for our attention with other people outside. It should be that balanced approach that we have. Even for work, when we come from work, we have a specific time slot where we just unwind. And after we've unwind, we keep the boardroom in the boardroom and the bedroom to the bedroom. And when we eat, we all of us we sit at the table and we eat and we switch off the television, and we have that attention to each other and no phones allowed at the table. So we make that plans, and it's also about routine. We want to keep the routine as healthy as possible, because sometimes you break that routine and it's not easy to get back to it again, especially when I mean, at some point in time, I had a business that I needed to run as well, multiple businesses as well. You had the ministry, you had your career, you had the family, and you had other commitments and that you also need to attend to. And when it comes to that kind of lifestyle, you start to burn yourself out. But you just need to call it a halt at some point and say, listen, let us focus on the important things and focus our energies toward those things that really carries value at the end of the day.
Thank you very much. In closing, I want to pose two questions to you. One to Annie, and then one to you, Rev Jax. Annie, you guys have been around, man. 20 years is not child's play. When we grow up, people would say that throw a si perakoopie, and we grow up with that perakoop syndrome, and that made a lot of us not to get married because people used to make it very difficult for us to get married because we were hanging on to that paraquip syndrome. But if there's a young lady out there tonight, Pastor Annie, that wishes to get married one day, but she's having that paraquip syndrome to say that I can't wait trou because why, I could see what marriages is doing to other people. What healthy recipe will you give that person tonight, um, that have made up their mind to say, I will never get married? And then, Rev Jax, if there is a guy tonight that came out of so many failed relationships, that feel that he cannot trust anything he committed himself to. You've been committed for over 20 years now. What will you say to those people that still wants to get married, but because of failed relationships, they don't see themselves getting married?
Okay, I would say to a lady, Pastor Law, that there's so many disappointments, especially young girls. Life is like that. You cannot warrant yourself against heartbreaks. I always tell Alvarine that your heart will be broken, irrespectively. But I think it's always about how you perceive it. Relationship has got that potential to bring out and show you who you really are. And obviously, sometimes you were drawn to people that you feel that would need that need that you want in a marriage or in a relationship. And what I always say is sometimes people take relationships very lightly. Um, and the patterns that you create within your relationship is the very same pattern that you will take to your marriage. So if you treat your relationship with the same, can I say, sacredness as a marriage, um, and not go loosely engaging in every relationship, being not ready. You know, sometimes you find yourself you on a rebound, just getting involved because you don't want to be lonely, or you don't even give yourself time to heal from a broken, your disappointment or something. So I think it's important that you shouldn't you should be whole as a person, as a lady, and not seek to be fulfilled by somebody else. So if you know who you are and you are whole, then it's so easy, um, to have a healthy relationship. Because sometimes in the end, ladies uses, or can I say, we are using each other as crutches. There's a gap, there's a void. I don't work to fill that void or to find out what caused that void. So if I know who I am and I need to work on myself and I know what I want, it's easier to know that. It's easier to have a solid foundation, and also to always take your paradigm from Christ. Um, in today's life, it becomes so normal that our young people engage in premarital, sex, which is also very dangerous because a part of your soul belongs to somebody else. And by the time you really get married and being settled, there's so many people that you were part of in such an intimate, relationship. So I think also, we don't talk about these things anymore, but people should really learn to 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 go back to the old school and start. We always, when we grew up, it was like our parents encouraged us, and we were also encouraged that keep yourself pure until you get married. It wasn't easy as you grow older, but that was always something that in our generation we were very proud to say, I want to save myself for the person that I'm going to get married to. And yeah, I'm talking a lot now, but yes, in a nutshell, I would say to somebody, don't settle for just anybody, but make sure that, and also pray for the husband that you would want God to bless you with, and also be the wife to a husband that he was also praying for a wife. And I believe that, um, God will then guide you to the right person. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
To answer you, Pastor Law, one of my favorite preachers says this remarkable, he makes this remarkable statement. He says, marriage is a microcosm of heaven. So, which means that when you look at a marriage, it should represent heaven. And it's true what you're saying, that we grew up with that perception that marriage is complicated, as a harde ding. But it should not be complicated. It should not be hard. For us, marriage is the best part of our lives. And marriage is, I've learned so much from my wife, and she learned so much from myself, and we learn every day as we continue to grow. And I would really advise a person that, justifications like we don't have enough money to get married, we're not ready yet, we're not there yet. You don't need to rush it though. But when you meet someone and you know in your heart this is the person that you can sign covenant with, I think it can go like, and Lisa also said that your relationship must result automatically into a marriage. And what you're doing in your relationship should represent more or less than what you will be finding in your marriage itself. And a marriage is it's a holy what you call it, a union that is been instituted by God, and it's such a safe place to be at for people coming together, imperfect people, into a perfect relationship. I think anyone must run for that opportunity. And it's true that sometimes we are afraid because of what people say. I remember when we were planning to get married, and my close friends that at the time that was also married was advising me against marriage. And some of them separated, some of them went their ways, and here we are 20 years later, still enjoying what we are building. And that is what marriage is about. You need to work at it daily, you need to commit to it daily. And like Annalise says, you need to fall in love all over again every day to the same person, and just make marriage a place when people look at your marriage, they must say, that couple, I want to be like that couple. But they must see the Holy Spirit, they must see Christ, they must see the fun, the love, and the excitement that is in marriage. You know, people get married at a young age. They're 1 year or 2 years married, but when you look at them, they look like old toppies and old tannies. It should not be the case. It must be something that you still enjoy. It is a relationship, and you are still friends. We are still, kogelrug, and we're having fun, and that is what marriage is about, is what you make of your marriage.
Thank you very much, Rev Jax and Pastor Anna. Thank you for having you guys here on tonight. I think um, you have given us insight as to how to build a recipe that is healthy for our marriages, and what it is to stick together no matter what storm may come in our marriage. And one thing that is so encouraging tonight is to ensure that Christ is the centerpiece of our marriages. I want to say thank you to you guys for coming on to In Your Corner with Pastor Law, where we discuss a recipe for a healthy marriage. And I just want to say thank you to you guys for coming up. I hope to bring you guys back sometime again when we're gonna discuss the challenges in marriages, because this is a platform where we not just educate, but we also inspire, and we give people hope that is hopeless in marriages. I want to say thank you to you guys. Thank you for being with me here in the studio tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Lo, and thank you for hosting us. It was quite interesting, and we hope that, in fact, you should bring out the book after all these discussions and talk shows that you're having. You should publish a book. We're looking forward to that.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you, Rev Jax. Thank you, Pastor Anna. To our viewers, I believe that you have enjoyed yourself tonight with what we have discussed. I want to say to that person that feels that marriage is not for him or to her, there's a status quo that says that it's rather good to marry late than to marry wrong. That's a perverted narrative, because last year on the same platform, I had young and married couples here. They were 19 and some of them were 21 years old. And I can tell you tonight that those people are still in there, and they are married. Some of them are 7 years, 4 years, and 3 years. And some of them became an inspiration to our marriage as we look at them being young and married. I want to say to that person that says that he doesn't want to get married, man, you don't know what you are missing out. Marriage is a very beautiful thing, and it can only be make work by two people that wants to be with each other for the rest of their lives. It took me 3 months to realize that the woman that I want to spend my life with is with me, because I met her in church, and I said to the Lord, but this is the one that I want to marry. And 3 months later, I popped the big question, and we are still together up until today. I want to say thank you to all our viewers. Tune in next week, where I will be having Noel Smith and his beautiful wife on In Your Corner with Pastor Law, same time, Tuesday night. The times will differ due to the load shedding, but I want to just say to you, and I want to salute you for being with us tonight. To our viewers, stay in touch with us as we educate you on how to have a good and a healthy recipe for your marriage, because people stay together for 40, 50 years in a marriage. So we need to learn from them to make our marriages work for good and for the better. Because when we made that vow, we said, till death do us part, and we're going to live up to that vow. May you have a beautiful night, and may you enjoy the rest of your week. God bless you. I'm out.
Give me you. Everything else can wait. Give me you. I hope I'm not too late. Lord, give me you. Lord, give me you. Lord, give me you. Lord, give me you. Give me you. Everything else can wait. Lord, give